Hi, hello, I'm Justin. Welcome to Rumination. This is a channel about anything. I'm totally open to suggestions, willing to do almost anything. Today's is like podcast, video essay format. Gonna be kind of laid back. Something you can sit down and watch, or you can put on for background noise. Put a lot of time and thought into this project, so I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. So take a second to get comfortable and welcome to the room. Who am I? I'm trying to figure that out myself, but on paper, I'm a high school senior. I am a younger brother. I'm a son. I'm a leader in, dang, that was a really just resume answer. I'm, I'm, I do things like drumline. I'm a drum captain for drumline. Really love drumline. I worked with at a summer camp. I'll get into that later. Honestly, I don't know what I am. I don't know who I am. I want to know. I think part of this is me trying to figure that out. But what is rumination? Rumination is defined as a deep or considered thought about something. Usually negative, can be positive. Could just be any thought that's deep, dug in there. And I have a pretty active self-talk or self-voice, which I lovingly have named Roomy with an I, since sharing my head is kind of like having a roommate. And also, I'm in my bedroom. And I have a lot of thoughts to the point where I get stuck in these loops where I'm talking more to myself and just thinking more than I am going out, seeing other people. Not super proud of that. Don't think it's something to be proud of. I want to break that habit. I want to break out of this mold that I've set for myself. But also having this extremely active inner voice is kind of like living with a roommate, always there, leaving the toilet seat up. What's the point of rumination? It's to share my voice. I'm 18. I need something that's only mine, something that only I can do. And I'm not a person that can, make art the way that I want to. I can't draw, I can't sing, I want to express myself. Anyone can make a YouTube channel. It's a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. But I have this urge to just create this artistic juice that is spoiling in this box that is me. I want to create. I want to be out there. I want to see people. I want to meet people with the same mindset as me. And, meeting people is hard, especially when you're in the Midwest. There's nothing here. I want to get out. I hope that this will help me get out. I want to stop talking about me. I don't want to tell you who I am. I want you to try to create that for yourself. I don't want to tell you what to think. That's not my job here. I think first thing I want to talk about is this lovely guitar here. I've told you that I don't have the urge to create or the talent to create. I've had this for probably almost a year now. Picked it up too many times just to set it back down. Realize I don't know what I'm doing. YouTube tutorials aren't enough. And I honestly don't think I'll ever learn to play it. I want to, but for right now, it's kind of this reminder that in a weird sense, it's okay to not be who you build yourself up to be in your mind. About that guitar, got that from a very long story. It was spring break, less than a week after I got my driver's license. I was driving around with some friends, two closest friends. We were just, driving. We were going to go watch a movie just to kill some time. We found this shortcut to the movie theater. Let me paint a picture for you. On the right side, rich neighborhood. On the left side, also rich neighborhood. You take a right, insanely rich neighborhood. You can't take a left. So we go straight through and we see couch, weird looking couch, awesome lamp, and then a like really crappy bed frame. And then we realize, it's bulk trash day. People are throwing things out. People are getting rid of things they don't need. So we go out and we're like, you know what? That's a pretty nice couch. Wouldn't it be really funny if we steal it? It's trash. We're not stealing anything. It's getting thrown away. But we're all like, yeah, let's steal this couch. We all decide on which couch we're gonna steal, and we're planning some logistics. We realize that it won't fit in any of our cars. We convince one of our friends to go back and get his truck. So we're killing time. Me and Joe over here. We're looking around the lineup of what's getting thrown away, with the couches and the lamp. As we're doing that, we're like, you know what? Might as well take this lamp. So we circle back around. The lamp's gone. We're like, okay, well, it's almost time. And then Bob gets here with his truck, and he forgot ratchet straps. So we're trying to figure out how to fit this couch into the back of his pickup without ratchet straps. As we did finally get it in there, but we didn't think about the pillows and cushions. So we jammed those in the back of his seat. And let me tell you, those things stunk. I'm so glad I was given permission to drive behind his truck and make sure nothing fell out. Joe, on the other hand, was stuck in the car with the cigarette smell from the couch. But after we eventually dropped that off at Joe's house, Joe was the only person with parents that would let him bring a couch home. It was about time. That was honestly 2 hours of time that we spent. And at that point, Bob needed to get home and do the dishes because his mom really likes yelling at him. At that point, me and Joe were trying to figure out some ways to kill time. So we're like, you know what? Let's just drive around. Let's keep looking for trash. Let's steal more things. It'd be so funny. It wasn't. We saw a lot of trash, a lot of couches, a lot of better couches, ones that didn't smell like cigarettes. Ended up just driving through the rich neighborhood to the insanely rich neighborhood to the top 1% neighborhood. Don't know how we ended up there. In that neighborhood, we saw this one house who was throwing away workout machines, jars of macaroni, paintings, children, swords, violins, guitars, everything. When we got there, we're like, you know what? Let's drive around. Maybe some other people are throwing away really cool stuff too. They weren't. So we went back and parked outside a stranger's house while they were throwing trash away to rummage through their trash and take what we thought was cool. I don't know why. It doesn't seem like a good idea anymore. But other people were doing it. There was like a whole, group of people that go around on trash day and rummage through other people's belongings. I don't get it. That guitar was one of the things we found. Some of the other stuff that we found was an electric guitar. Neither of us got our hands on it quick enough. And a violin. Neither of us got our hands on it quick enough. And there were some paintings. Can't remember the guy's name, but I'm going to throw some pictures up here. And here. And here. Honestly, I kind of wish I got one of them. They were really cool. I don't know if they were prints or paintings. I think one was a painting. Don't know why they're throwing that out. That was super expensive. And then I got some prints. It says Shaken Not Stirred and Bon Appetit are hanging up over there across my room. I'll throw up a picture here. I got stuff hanging on them now. One man's trash is another man's untouched guitar. I think that's a pretty important lesson to learn. I had a laptop bag that I got from there. Really wish I knew where it was because it was really nice. But honestly, I was really thankful for that day because, it was really fun. It was memorable. And it was just a day that I got to spend with Bob and Joe. Joe I've known for 7 years and Bob I've known for 4. Honestly, I can't say how thankful I am for both of them. I grew up as a gifted kid, which kind of shut down all friendships I could have indirectly. Growing up as a gifted kid had its ups and downs. Once a week, I was shipped off in a bus for an hour and a half there and an hour and a half back. And this caused like a wedge or a wall to be put up between me and my fellow classmates, as well as my teachers. My teachers always expected more from me, which is fair. It wasn't that they gave me more work. They just had higher expectations for me, which was honestly the worst possible thing that a teacher could do for a kid in that situation. They need stimulation. They don't need to be put on this pedestal, for the other kids to look up to. Because, yeah, they're the better kids, but no, they're just different. And singling them out, honestly, is so damaging. And I wish they would teach that to teachers. Other kids always looked up to you, which was nice. You were the go-to guy, but always for homework. So that was fun. Not really. I was always the first to finish my assignment. And then I always wanted to talk because, what else am I going to do? I finished all my work. can I talk to people? Can I explore my childhood? No, they just sent me to the timeout and told me to shut up. So now I don't talk to people, which is why I'm talking online. The days were structured into these 2 classes, which were honestly, that was nice. That was fun. I do enjoy the program that I went to. Nothing against the program. The program was wonderful. It was the way they outside the program was ran. In the program, it was structured into a morning and afternoon, which is great for kids like me, get bored of things too quickly. Honestly, everyone in there was a little weird, but they were cool. Everyone was quirky, but they were themselves unapologetically. Some of the classes that were offered at this program were honestly really cool. It was like mock trial, food science, Greek mythology. There was this really, I don't want to say unfun, but I was a 3rd grader working with 5th graders, and it was called Global Ambassadors. You picked a class or a country around the world. You had to delegate with the other students to, try to solve poverty was the goal, which is insane to tell a 3rd grader, hey, you're going to solve global hunger. I was just laughing about butts the whole time. I had a country named Chad. Not super important, but I thought it was really funny. It's in Africa. That's all I could tell you. Some of the other classes was like an art class that taught you on different mediums. That was really fun. And then there was a Dungeons and Dragons one. Don't know how we spent a semester learning how to play Dungeons and Dragons and then 2 days actually playing it. I wish I kept in contact with more of the people there, but it was like 3rd through 5th grade that I went there. So it wasn't like I really had access to any technology to keep in contact with them. So that was a fun 2 years, 3 years, 2 years. 3 years. Because of this program, I was able to attend this summer camp. And it was a summer camp for students in programs like that. Honestly, don't know why I was in these programs. Really thankful I was because I got to go to this summer camp. Oh my gosh, dude, I have so many stories about this summer camp. My first year there, I got a really interesting roommate. He was nice. He was mostly respectful. He was just twice my size and talked half as much as me. The conversations were 80% me. For your first year, you're really packed in with your roommate. They want you to have somebody that you can go to for anything. Having somebody twice my size was a little intimidating. And he always had this look that one eye was looking at you and then the other eye was looking through you. So anytime you're talking about anything that's not butts or whatever 3rd graders talk about, you're just being half looked at. But he was cool. The first night we were there, we made these boats out of cardboard as a team bonding exercise between you and your roommates. In that exercise, made out of cardboard, duct tape, I think you had 1 trash bag, and you were just trying to make a boat that would float. It's made of cardboard and duct tape. It's not gonna float for long. One night you build them, then the next night you test them. That's how it worked. And the night that we tested them, I was in my swim trunks. He was in his swim trunks. My roommate, we got in the pool. Everybody else's boat maybe made it 5 feet from the launch point and sunk. That was really kind of unnerving. This big challenge. How are 3rd graders gonna stay up to par with 5th graders in a challenge that relies heavily on thinking and knowledge of physics, floating, boats?
Fish be like,
hey, it's me, I'm a fish. I'm swimming here. Whenever we made ours, I kind of took the lead, I've been in this position before. Kids look up to me all the time. I got this ego. And so, we build it. It looks great. We got some differing ideas, but I'm a master compromiser. We work through them and we get to the point where we're ready to launch art. We decide that I'm gonna be in the boat. I'm light. I already float, barely even touch the water, and he's gonna push the boat. He's basically touching whenever it's 12 feet deep and I'm neck deep in 3 feet water. So he's pushing me. We get past the 5 feet. I'm feeling good about myself. Everybody's looking at me. We're Mom, I made it. Keeps pushing. Halfway across, keeps pushing. The whole class or whole camp is just cheering me on. No one's paying attention to me. And I'm going. I think think he's got me. He's got me. I guess he kind of stopped pushing like halfway through. Momentum just kind of carried me. Didn't even realize that till he made it to the end. And the other art, or the RA is what they're called, the counselors, were just kind of staring at me and my roommate. He was kind of distracted playing with like splashing another guy. And, you know, I'm all the way across, just slowly. And when I get there, you know, I'm thinking, I did it. I won the challenge. Everybody's going to remember me for all of history. To put it into perspective, at the end of the week, there's a slideshow that kind of encompasses everything the kids did that week. And I get you can't fit an entire week into a 5-minute long slideshow, but the fact that I was the only boat to make it across and I wasn't in the slideshow, I'm still mad about that. And you know what the even worst part is? The next year I went there, I was a 4th grader. Now I'm thinking, I still got this ego. You know, I was the only boat to make it across that year. Whatever challenge they throw at me this year, I'm gonna be the only one. I'm gonna make it to the slideshow this year. This one, we got a box, some bubble wrap, and an egg, and some tape. And the goal was to mail the egg to yourself at the, like, it'll get sent through the mail, come back to camp at the end of the week, and the egg will still be fine. That's the goal. It's really hard to do that. You know, we're making. I got a different roommate. In fact, this time I got 2 different roommates. The only person in camp, the only group in camp to have 2 roommates. So we get put in. We're working. We get 2 eggs because, you know, we're more people, but we also get some more supplies. So the strategy that a lot of people did was bubble wrap the egg and then tape it and then put that in the box. But the boxes were really big. So they just kind of rattled around in there. And the box was probably like, you know, I could fit in it at that time. So what we did was we took the egg in bubble wrap, taped that, but we taped that to the side of the box. And then I don't know why we did it, but we stacked it on the bottom, taped it on the bottom of the box. And then we bubble wrapped the second egg, put that on top, taped that. And then we had like spider webbing tape holding it in. And that was our box to mail. We didn't even get to know whether the boxes made it or the eggs made it or not until like the last night. And also on the last night of the dance is a camp. Last night of the camp is a dance. So, you know, we're just come back from the dance. We're ripping open our eggs. I was the only group to have a surviving egg, and we had 2 surviving eggs. And you want to know who didn't make it to the end of the week slideshow again? I don't know what I have to do at this point. I was kind of broken at that point. I think that was the lowest point of my entire life, was not making it onto the slideshow for 2 weeks in a row. It was honestly the most painful experience I think I've ever been a part of. The first time was like a knife stab wound to the heart, and then the second time was like 37 more stab wounds. I was offended personally, but you know what? It's okay. I'm mostly healed now. So healed to the point that I now work at that summer camp and force myself into the end of week slideshow as reconciliation for myself. Working at that summer camp is really fun. I've enjoyed it. There's some ups and downs. It's very different on the operational side of things. If you ever worked at a summer camp, you'll know. No matter how put together the camp seems, everybody's running around like headless chickens. It's a fun experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything, and I'm going to do it again, and I'm glad I do. The reward is so much bigger than the work that you put in. If you know what I'm talking about, I am glad for you. If you don't, I highly recommend working at a summer camp, especially one you have emotional attachment to, as well as somewhere that's accessible. So my first year working there, I was what was called a junior RA. And, you know, that's exactly what it is. It's like a junior or a counselor in training. You're doing all the grunt work that our actual RAs don't want to do. If they want to go to the bathroom or take a break, that's what you do. You know, you cover for them. You're kind of just there in case they need you. But you do have some actual tasks, like fill up the cooler so kids can buy sodas. That one's really important. And mail duty, I got put on soda, so I didn't know how mail duty ever worked. I still don't. It's a mystery how it gets done. There's so much mail. I don't know how it doesn't just get like thrown out and kids, go ahead, get it. And it's like a wild dog pack. That's what I would do. Working as a junior RA was a very educational experience. I was the only guy junior RA. I don't know if you can tell from the video here, but I'm on the shorter side and I'm definitely on the lighter side. Not a lot of muscle going on. Drink like coolers like Yetis. Those things alone are like 20 pounds. Full of ice and sodas, it's a lot heavier. And then carrying that uphill, I think I gained 10 pounds of muscle and lost 15 pounds of fat. I don't have fat to lose. I don't know where the weight went. I came out of that camp visibly toned, but it was hard work carrying 80-pound coolers, 60, 80-pound coolers up a hill for 20 minutes. Watching those kids get their sodas was hit me. You know, that year there was a lot of stuff that happened. It's not a bad neighborhood that the camp is in at all. I guess we just got lucky. It was, hottest week of the summer. There's some people go around. It's a little hot during the day. They want somewhere to chill out. They sneak into the buildings where the kids are, and we don't like that because they're kids. So there were these airbending raccoons. If you're a kid and we told you they were airbending raccoons, no, they weren't. Go away, click off the video. There were people at night knocking on kids' doors. I don't know why. I wish I knew. Security got them. That was fun. There were also, so when you're staff, you don't get to sleep for a week. There's an hour after that you get to, you have to be up for at least an hour after all the kids go to sleep so you can go to a meeting. And then after that meeting, you gotta, double check your kids at it's already around 1 a.m. at that time. You gotta double check your kids, make sure they're all there, and then you get to go to sleep. Thankfully, I was a junior my first year, so I actually got maybe an hour more sleep. I didn't have to check on the kids. One of the times we were going to the meeting, it was really late, really late. I guess we just got back from some kind of activity. It was already 1 a.m. when we were going to the meeting, and then as we were leaving the meeting, there were these two, they looked like that just were knocking on the windows into the meeting area. We got the director and they were like, hey, what are you guys doing? Go home. They're like, we want to take a picture with that balloon arch over there. No, go away. We then proceeded to stay in that meeting area for an extra 30 minutes to make sure they were gone before we went back to sleep. So it was 2:30, 3:30 when I got to sleep. And then I had to wake up at 6. So all the kids that woke up early could wake up early and come out of their dorm rooms. That was a fun week. I got more stories from that camp. I don't want to just make this a camp video. So I'm instead going to talk about the time I got snowed into a really sketchy hotel area. This poster actually kind of plays a big part. That's from a band called Good Kid. Here's another picture of them. And I went to a show in February of theirs. I got the tickets really early in advance to the point that I didn't know that there was supposed to be, this record-breaking snowstorm. And we were still going to try to go to the concert, me and my dad. So we went up a day early to try to beat the snow. If I get snowed in, I miss a day of school. So what? Not that big of a deal. So we get there. Snow hits us half, on the way up. So we're like, oh, shoot. We need to get there soon. We get in there. We get all settled down. We get dinner, just chill. First night's chill. It does end up snowing a lot that we get snowed in. It was a really big city that this show was in. And we booked a hotel kind of walking distance from the venue if needed to be. It was like a 20-minute walk in the snow if needed. We didn't have to, thankfully, but we probably should have. The roads were ice. There was no road. It was snow and ice. But we get there. We go and watch. We have a great time, or I did at least. So much so that I want to see them again. I will soon. While we were there, we got kind of looked at weird by some people. I guess there's a certain thing you're supposed to wear to concerts, and it's not a hoodie and sweatpants. At least that's the way I took it. I felt singled out. Everybody there was dressed up to go to the concert and custom merch. I didn't make anything. I guess I was wrong for that. I got a cool bracelet though that somebody made me. That was fun. But while we were there, it kept snowing. I didn't realize that. I thought, the snow would just magically go away. I should have worn more layers, because when I got out of that venue, out of that greatest concert of my life, I got struck with these little needles of ice, these little needles of pain and death called snow. Oh, it was snowing so bad that the distance between you and me, not visible. Too much snow. Don't know why, but my dad drove the 5 minutes to meet us there and pick us up from a busy concert. I thank him for that. I love you, Dad. Thank you so much. But we should have walked. It wasn't safe for us to do that. But we did it. We made it. And my brother really wanted to go back to college. So as well as that, we also drove in that ice, snow, no visibility across however long to drop my brother back off at college, which don't know how thankful he is for, but I'm thankful for him that he made it safe. And then we made it back to the hotel safe. Oh my gosh, thank the Lord we made it back to the hotel safe, because it kept snowing worse and worse over time. I think at that point I realized like how much my dad really will do for me and my brother. I can't thank him enough. Tell your parents you love them. Another thing that my dad and I do, I don't know if it's not every year, but out of the past 8 years, we've done it probably 6 or 7 times. So we have this pool outside, just like an above ground pool. And every year, you put the tarp on it, the pool cover, the net, all that stuff to, try to save some money and not have to refill the pool entirely every year. I guess frogs think it's a lake and a perfect spot to lay eggs. So every what was it? It'd be June, or I don't know. Frog experts fact check me on that. But June is usually when we got all these little froglets and tadpoles. We have this 100-gallon tank that's just kind of sitting in our garage, and so every year we fill that up with water and we put in thousands of tadpoles in there. It's honestly probably not the healthiest for them, but we do feed them. We don't ever change the water because they're there for like 3 weeks, a month. But yeah, we make sure the water's safe for them. We make sure all the levels are right, at least at the start. And then we put an aerator in, and then we put some things to float, so when they're frogs they can get out. We feed them probably not as much as we should, but we haven't ever had an extreme exodus of tadpoles. There's maybe 3 that die a year, and I'm pretty sure those are from natural mutations and stuff. Every year we have 1,000 tadpoles that we have to release, but since they're in the garage, we can't just release them out into the garage. We have to, and they don't all turn into frogs at the same time. So we have to get this little cricket cage for feeding bearded dragons and just shove as many frogs in there as we can. And then we take that outside and oh my gosh, it is the weirdest feeling sticking your hand and have 100 frogs on your hand. If I have a picture or video, I'm going to be playing it throughout this, or right now. I'm gonna play it right now. Frogs are fun. The only reason we started doing that was because I cried whenever I realized we had to kill a lot of tadpoles. I think since those the tadpoles that grew up, we have a elevated number of frogs around the house and area. So we don't have mosquitoes here for most of the year, which is really nice. Every year there are more tadpoles. Correlation versus causation here. Don't know if it's from us or if it's from just inflation in the frog population. Dr. Seuss. I think it's both, because I see a lot of other people the 1,000 frog or the frog army that was happening around the time. So a lot of people were raising frogs. From that experience, I learned how to raise fish a little bit. So I have fish across the room. If I can get a good picture, I'll show you. Their names are Tupac and Biggie. I named them that knowing full well that probably one was male and one was female. One of them is definitely bigger than the other. Still don't know if it's male or female yet, but I got these fish for a school project. I was in a class called Small and Specialty Animals. And, we just learned about small fish, small cats, small rodents, and how to take care of them, the general science behind it, things like that. They're just animal science, what most classes are. And in that experience, yeah, the final project was to keep fish alive for a month. It's really easy, guys. If you can't keep fish alive for a month, I don't know how you are alive. Honestly, I missed the day that they dumped the fish in, and they did it so wrong. You're supposed to acclimatize. You're supposed to get the fish in the comfortable with the water, so it doesn't put them into shock by setting the bag in, letting it float, putting some water in, letting the bag float, dumping the fish out, letting the bag float. In that, They just kind of dumped the fish in and prayed. All the fish survived, at least from that experience. So that was a positive. I'm pretty sure my fish are the only ones that are still alive. I was really good about not overfeeding or underfeeding my fish. I didn't always fill out the paper that I was supposed to, but also my fish are the only ones that are still alive. Whenever I was getting ready to bring it home, like the last day of school, I was like, you know what? I finally got my tank set up. I'm comfortable with bringing the fish home. I get there after school. Teacher texts me like, hey, can you come pick up your fish? I'm like, oh yeah, almost forgot. I get in the room and they're sitting in a little pitcher and the tank is everywhere. The tank broke. They were trying to shift it so it wasn't sitting on the edge. And I guess the pressure from the 10 gallons of water didn't like that and it exploded. Funnily enough, all the fish survived that in a pitcher for at least an hour. Whenever I got them home, I was so scared that they were gonna just die. You know, I was sitting there every 5 minutes doing the little drops of water in there, checking on them, you know, just making sure they were comfortable, not stressed out. They were stressed and they're still alive. But dude, how these poor fish have been through shock, have been through an exploded tank, have been through a car ride, and that just kind of serves as a reminder that like no matter what life throws at you, just got to keep on swimming. Dory. But I just want to thank you guys for spending some time with me. I put a lot of effort into this. I'm really excited to do more of this stuff. I really enjoyed making this. Even if it doesn't do great, I'm still going to keep making it. This was fun. This was an enjoyable experience. It helps me spread some of my creative juices. I need more engagement bait in this. If you have any ideas on how to create more engagement bait, put it in the comments. If you have any ideas of what videos I should do, put it in the comments. If you didn't like the video, comment and tell me why for what I can do better. And if you did like the video, please still comment. I want to be famous. If you guys have an idea for an intro or outro or like exit, post a comment. I'm gonna think of a way to let the bag float.